Bungie's new dungeon, Spire of the Watcher, dropped yesterday, and it was nothing short of a disaster. In today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about it, going over the exact chronological order of events in this chaotic arrival of this new dungeon. First up, the dungeon launched, and upon initial launch, everything seemed to be working well. There was no error codes or anything like that. But about an hour into it, we started to see a ton of error codes. I got kicked out of the boss room. A lot of people, whatever your progress was in the dungeon, a lot of people were getting kicked, and it was obviously very frustrating. We got Calabrese, Weasel, and a bunch of other connection issues. Comment down below if you got any error codes when trying to do the dungeon yesterday during its initial launch. We got some responses from Bungie Help and from DMG, the community manager, talking a little bit about this. As the team seeks to identify the root cause of errors, they will be disabling some features on Bungie.net. There's potential that activities may be disabling in Destiny 2 as well. And so Bungie starts just flipping the switch on things, shutting things off. Third-party apps get shut off, and they are being shut off for the entirety of the rest of this weekend, which is something that we have never seen before. I don't know what happened at the Bungie HQ, if they had some sort of crazy server meltdown, but I can't imagine there was that many people playing Destiny 2 at that point in time to cause that. I don't know what happened, but it was definitely pretty crazy. It's crazy to see the third-party apps all get shut down because of these crazy error codes. It wasn't the entirety of the issues that happened as well, because what happened for some is that they got the exotic bow, they beat the dungeon, and they got the good RNG of the bow to drop for them, but it would rewind your progress, and this happened for me a bunch. I kept changing my weapons, and every time I got error coded, I would come back into the game, and I would have on the old weapons and loadout that I had before. So what happened to some very unfortunate people, and F's in the comments for these individuals, they beat the dungeon, they got the exotic bow to drop for them, they got error coded from the game, and then they didn't get the loot at all. They got the bow taken away from them. It's not in their collections. It's not reacquirable at all. They have to beat it again, and in doing so, they had bad RNG and weren't able to get it the second time they beat it, right? So that was a huge fiasco and such a terrible thing to happen. I cannot imagine the pain and anguish from that happening to you, actually getting the new exotic and then getting it ripped from your hands shortly afterwards, but that did happen to some. And others, you got your weapons taken away from you. The error codes were a huge issue. At least Bungie was able to shut off the third-party apps to get on top of it, but it definitely made it quite a bit of a fiasco. But that wasn't the end of it either. A lot of people have been criticizing this dungeon as having a lot of recycled assets. And one of those assets being the weapons that were there, but also the boss, the first main boss that we fight, is literally just the consecrated mine from the Garden of Salvation. It's an exact copy and paste of him. The only new mechanic is that at the end of his damage phase, he does this giant blast that knocks you back. But besides that, the eyes and the damage and everything else is an exact copy and paste from Garden of Salvation. A lot of people have criticized that, and this dungeon, being a quote-unquote new dungeon, is reusing a lot of old assets. Along with that raid boss, we also got, some of the old weapons coming back. Weapons that weren't really that exciting in the first place, like the carbine. Wasn't really that interesting of a weapon, so a lot of people are expressing some extreme criticism of this dungeon, but I want to know your thoughts and opinions. Did you enjoy the new dungeon yesterday? Did you have a positive experience, or are you fed up with it? Or are you just going to wait until Lightfall before you come back to Destiny 2? So let's wrap on this video. Make sure to subscribe. I'll keep you up to date on all the news, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.